Well, very good evening to everyone, and we warmly welcome you for yet another exciting session of Project 100 Storytellers. So before we begin, I would like to give a big shout out to our partners, our gold partners, Chartered Institute of Marketing, our media and awards partner, Arteculate Asia, and our platforms partner, Curva. Yes, so talking about the topic today, so we know that in this current context, we know that digitalization has taken over in almost all aspects. And now, irrespective of the size, any business cannot actually survive in today's digital era without the help of digital marketing, which is why this is a very timely and important topic when it comes to the field of marketing. So today's topic will be digital marketing, and we have with us an amazing speaker with us today. He is the product operations manager at Mindvalley and formerly the member committee vice president for digital experience and information management for term 1920 of AIESEC Sri Lanka. And his AIESEC journey has been nothing short of remarkable. And you probably have guessed who it already is. Yes, it is none other than Mr. Damith Silva. It's over to you.
Thank you and welcome everyone. So super glad to be here with everyone else. Let me start by sharing my screen. All right, so welcome everyone. So this is gonna be, I don't know how which session is this for you guys, but it's definitely my first session here in 100 Storytellers. So it's a super amazing program. Really glad to be a part of it. And we are going to start off with digital marketing. So digital marketing is going to be a subset of your marketing knowledge base. So your marketing knowledge base will be an entire landscape full of other opportunities, right? So digital marketing takes one pillar within the digital marketing domain. So we are going to talk about digital marketing today, and to understand what are the elements in digital marketing, what do we do in digital marketing, what are your expectations, how do you set goals, and what are the things that you can do in digital marketing, right? So before that, a bit of introduction about myself. So I'm Damith. I'm a product operations manager at Mindvalley, Malaysia. So right now I'm in Sri Lanka. I was unable to move to Malaysia because of the whole situation right now. But yeah, I just put together some pictures during my AIESEC experience for you guys to showcase. So I've actually got the opportunity to travel around a couple of countries doing digital marketing trainings for other countries as well. So this was in Vietnam, and you can see Sisita as well in this picture on the right-hand corner. This was in Vietnam, and this was in Taiwan. This was in Philippines. So I've had my quite share of AIESEC experience. So been traveling a lot, and AIESEC has given an amazing opportunity. So with my background, I'm from a computer science background, not a marketing person, but I learned marketing completely from AIESEC. And by having a lot of good mentors who are here in the program as well with you guys. So in the next couple of days, you will get to meet some of my mentors as well, who actually taught me digital marketing and got me up to speed. So yeah, before we start off, I just want you guys to quickly do a quick check-in. I want to know your name and your role. And how was your first 15 days in AIESEC went by? So the first 15 days is quite an amazing, because it's virtual for you guys probably, but I want to know within one word, how was your first 15 days? Within one word, if you can explain how, what was your first 15 days like, along with your name and your role, that'll be great. So start to use the chat, feel free, and looking forward to seeing you guys. Yeah, so give it a go. Thank you, guys. So yeah, talking about product marketing is the term that we use in digital marketing, because digital marketing is a way that you use to promote a product, right? You're trying to promote something online. So it's most likely going to be a product. Either it's a service, or it's a physical product, or it's an e-commerce service. Whatever it is, it's all labeled as a product. So we call product marketing as a term used in digital marketing when we market a product itself. So when it comes to this, like one of the main KPIs, so anybody who knows what KPIs means in the chat, guys. So what does KPIs mean? Anyone has come across the word KPIs before or throughout your journey in StoryTellers? Anybody? Key performance indicators. Okay, cool. So some of you guys already have an idea of what this is supposed to be like. And basically, so KPI means key performance indicator. It's an indication of what we are doing is working or not. So if you're blindly doing something without tracking it or without having an objective or without knowing what's going to happen, that's just random stuff. But when it comes to product marketing / digital marketing, the beauty of it is because you can have a KPI, a metric to be tracked. Because when you take other marketing elements, it's difficult to track, right? It's difficult to have a number on it. It's very difficult to track when you take other mediums. But when it comes to digital, the amazing part is everything is trackable. So whatever happens, you can track it. So there's definitely a way you can, even if you don't know a way of how to track a certain thing, you can definitely figure that out. So whenever you're marketing something, right, whether it could be an e-commerce product, OGV or OGT, whatever the product that we are marketing in AIESEC, the main KPI when it comes to digital marketing, what we are worried about is the number of signups. And the other part that we are worried about is the conversion rate of sign up to applied or sign up to a qualified lead, we call it in digital marketing. So the main thing that you need to worry about is these two things. And these two things come from what we call a target audience, right? So if you guys have any questions, by the way, please put it in the chat. We will have a Q&A session at the end of the session, so you can turn on your mic and speak as well in that time, or you can drop a message in the chat as well. All right. So there are different platforms coming in every day. They are evolving. They are like stepping up their game in order to make digital marketing more effective. So signups and the conversion rate, which we call the portion that gets converted to a qualified lead or applied in terms of AIESEC, right? So that's something that we need to keep an eye on. If our conversion rate is low, something we are doing online is not working. Maybe we are targeting the wrong audience. Maybe we are looking at the wrong content. So the other thing to look out is number of signups, because larger the number of signups, the more people we can convert, right? So these are the two main KPIs when you are doing digital marketing that you have to keep in your head. Always like have an idea when you're doing certain things. Make sure that you are able to explain these two KPIs when whatever you are doing, and you're able to track this with whatever you're doing. So when it comes to the digital world, right, there's a lot of activities we can do. I'm just taking AIESEC as an example for this, so I can benchmark certain things. So there are a lot of digital activities which you can do. It's a matter of applying that digital activity to whatever the activity that you do. It could be a product, it could be an event, it could be a service that you're doing. Anything that you're doing, all the concepts are same. It's the matter of how well you can apply that concept into digital marketing or into that event. So when we break down the funnel, right, when you in digital marketing, you have a concept called a funnel, because funnel means it's like a general funnel. Imagine a funnel shape diagram. So in that funnel, you would have signups, and they would narrow down as you get to your goal, because it's not the entire sign up pool that will get converted to whatever the activity that you want, but it's a narrow field that would get converted, right? So in the attraction phase here, which we have, so the first left-hand side, you have attraction, organic, and paid marketing. So this is the part where you attract people into your funnel, into your product, into your event, into get people interested about your organization. This is where you get people interested about AIESEC or what AIESEC does or what AIESEC sells, right? So there are two main ways which you can do this. This is organic and paid marketing. So paid marketing is basically relatively more effective because you're investing money, and when you put money onto a platform to market, it's not just boosting a post, or it's not just boosting, sorry about that, it's my dog. So it's not just boosting a poster like that, because attraction means you're trying to bring people into something. It could be either a website, a landing page. We will explain these terms as we go on, and you might have questions, so please feel free to drop them. So we are trying to bring people to some piece of content. It could be trying to bring attraction to a piece of content that you published online. That's what you call boosting. But if you're doing a product, like let's take OGV or OGT or whatever the product that AIESEC does, if we want to get people interested in this product, we need to attract them to something that gives them more details about the product. It could be an event that explains about the products that AIESEC does. So paid marketing is much more targeted, and you can actually define the audience that you want to target. Maybe you're targeting people who are under age of 25 and within Colombo. Maybe that's your niche market, right? So the beauty of paid marketing is it's targetable. It can be narrowed down to whoever you want to attract to this product and whoever your product's target audience is. And organic is something that we use to build up your target audience, like your Facebook page or your Instagram page, your LinkedIn page. Organic content is something that you need to define, and you need to make sure your content is engageable with whoever that is your target audience. So audience and paid marketing plays a role in terms of attraction. But even though you attract people, there's another KPI which I told you guys, which is conversion rate, right? So how do we ensure that conversion rate plays, how do we ensure that we can affect or we can influence this conversion rate? That's the concept where lead nurturing comes in. So you did attraction, you got people, okay, you have signups. Now what do? Now I need to convert these signups into paid customers, right? That's what you want to do. Or you want to convert these signups into applied in terms of AIESEC consent, because AIESEC does products and we want people to apply and then get approved and then get realized. So lead nurturing is a process that you do to convert leads or unqualified leads from unpaying customers to paying customers. So lead nurturing is that process which you do to convert unpaying customers to paying customers. So what are the ways we can do lead nurturing? One of it is called email lead nurturing. I'm pretty sure that you might have signed up on certain websites or some platform, some ad that you saw on Facebook, and you started to get this bunch of emails with regard to this thing that you signed up, and it can be quite annoying at sometimes. So that's email lead nurturing. So email lead nurturing is when you have a sign up, when you have their email, you're sending them targeted email campaigns at specific timelines, at specific times, to engage them to do a call to action. We want to get an action out of them. Maybe we want them to click something. Maybe we want them to visit a page. Maybe we want them to apply to a certain opportunity. So email lead nurturing is basically using email as a platform to convert this. And the second one is like Facebook groups. Like this is a very basic thing that you can do, like using Facebook groups to convert people. So whatever you're trying to sell, create a group around it, create a content around it, and make sure that you have a audience pipeline into your group, and then you can nurture the people inside the group. So this is something that you can also try out. And the other way is called SMS lead nurturing. So you're pretty sure you guys are using either PickMe or Uber. So once a week, you might get an SMS saying that, hey, are you hungry? Try to order something, and there's this discount of 30% off or something like that. So that's Uber's or PickMe's form of lead nurturing, because they are using SMS as a targeted content onto you to make sure that you do a certain call to action, that is to order through them, right? Similarly, in AIESEC context, we can push people to apply. We can push people to ask them to sign up. We can ask them to apply and ask them to apply to more opportunities, or maybe look at more content that we had, because we want to keep people inside the funnel, right? So while this attraction, lead nurturing, everything's going on, we need analytics, right? We need analytics to monitor everything. So one of his there are like 4 pillars of it, but I will only mention 2 main elements with regard to AIESEC content. So one of it is Google Analytics and Analytics. So Analytics tells you how much signups you got, how many of them are converted, how many of them are like dropped out, and all this analytics. And Google Analytics gives you a wide definition of audience input about like who are your audience, what are they doing on their website, on your website, are they clicking stuff, are they doing what they're supposed to do, likewise. So you will learn in detail in the following sessions to come. So this is just an overview of the big picture. And within the next session, I hope you will get a covering of Google Analytics and everything else. So in AIESEC, we have AIESEC.lk as a website, so which we use to pull leads onto this. So AIESEC.lk is our main landing page when it comes to a product. So people will go to AIESEC.lk to learn about what products we do, right? They want to understand the products that we do, products that we sell. So this understanding needs to be given by a website. But at times, website is not enough. You need to do other methods to help people understand about our products, because us AIESECers, we might know about the product. But when you take customers who are new to AIESEC, they don't know anything about AIESEC. They don't know what we sell. They don't know what product is this, how this works, what is the process, nothing, right? So you need to make sure that you send this targeted content and targeted website content to convert people. So maybe your emails are pulling people back to the website, or maybe your emails are pulling people to a different landing page. Maybe you can build a complete different page to people who are at a certain stage. Maybe you can ask them to do certain activities at a certain stage. So we'll figure out how that's going to happen. And another pillar is called brand advocacy. So brand advocacy is using customers itself to promote a product. So we'll learn more about brand advocacy in this session. And other thing is like customer support. How can we give support to people who are trying to understand our product? How can we give more lead nurturing methods, or maybe customer support can be used? So you guys must be using either like Dialog or whatever the mobile provider, they have their own customer support, right? They have a chatbot, they have their own website or whatever. Using that website chatbot, they provide support. So in AIESEC also, we can do the same thing. And this can be a tool to convert people, because people who are confused about our products can reach out to us through the chatbot. Maybe not take a call, maybe you can use the chatbot. So these are the ways which you can do digital activities, right? These are the things which you can try out in the digital world to achieve a goal. So in this session, we'll be mainly focusing on, first we'll be focusing on attraction, because that's primarily important. We need to know how to bring people into the funnel. What are the activities we can do to bring in attraction? And the other one is like lead nurturing, because lead nurturing also is an important role when it comes to converting your attracted people into qualified leads. And brand advocacy. Brand advocacy is free marketing. I would say it's free marketing, because once you capitalize on brand advocacy, your product automatically starts rolling out, because people will promote the product for you instead of you having to take an action. Brand advocacy is the best way and the most effective way to convert leads or to bring in more leads. So brand advocacy is quite an important role when it comes to digital marketing. So attraction, right? So this is the part we bring up signups into the funnel for a product or whatever the service that you're selling. So how can we bring in signups? So one thing is social media organic content. Like I said before, organic content plays a role where you build your target audience. So when you're building a target audience, your audience is quite cold. We call it cold because they aren't qualified leads. They are just people who are interested in what we do and the content that we provide. So maybe AIESEC, it's all about leadership, all about people who talk about leadership, about certain like travel opportunities that we do, amazing things that AIESEC does. So this type of content can interest certain people who are like-minded. Who are like-minded would like to follow these type of content, so they would follow our page. So once we have a follower, these people are on our Facebook page. That's what we call number of likes that we have on a Facebook page, the total amount of engagement, all these metrics come under social media organic content, because that states how interested people are in our content. So second is paid advertising. Like I mentioned, like you can target people through your paid content. You can send specific targeted content to specific people. Maybe to convert a A-level student is not the same content. They are not motivated by the same content that a university student is motivated by. Maybe a A-level student is motivated by more feelings of freedom, more about feelings of independence. So at A-level stage, after A-levels, like you're at a very young stage, you're rebellious and you want to do certain new things. So you're feeling very adventurous. So if you can create content that can feed that adventurous need of the past A-level student, you are attracting them to your funnel. You're attracting them to your page. You're attracting them to your landing page or whatever. And you can target that specific content to that audience. Or you can target the university students with something much more advanced. Maybe it's the qualification that they are concerned about university students. So I'm just guessing here, right? So likewise, you can target specific content. It's not just you run one ad and just be done with it, right? You can't just run, okay, I created a video, I just run an ad on everybody and that's it. I brought some leads, that's it, and I'm done. You can't be like that, because that's not how funnels work. So using paid advertising, you need to create a specific funnel. A funnel, which means this content will create this type of feelings within the person. And the next time they see a different type of content, they would be engaged to do something. Maybe the first piece of content that they show them is about the adventurous nature, maybe about the opportunities that this product gets. And the second piece of content is about a call to action, how they can get this experience. It can be about the product. It can be an invitation to certain things. It can be an invitation to a webinar or invitation to online event that will explain about how can you get these travel opportunities, how can you get these amazing opportunities. So you pull people to a different event, and there you will explain about the product, and entirely there people will know about how to like sign up, do whatever, what's the process and everything they would understand in a webinar, right? They are getting a big picture overview, and then they would try to convert that. Then that would be much easier. So likewise, you need to create a funnel on each stage, how you will bring people to understand about our product. The most misconception that you see is the content that you put out there has no relation between the audience. If your audience can't reflect with the content, your content is useless. Your content is not engaging them. Your content is not creating engagement, right? So you need to wonder about this funnel concept. So you will learn more on next sessions. So other thing is WhatsApp promotions. So WhatsApp promotions are the promotions that you do on WhatsApp stories. Maybe you create WhatsApp groups, you create WhatsApp messaging platforms where people can reach out to you and ask about your product, right? And other one is Google Ads. Google Ads are the first three elements that you see when you go to Google, or when you Google something. You will see three blocks on the top search results that would say the word ad. So Google Ads is like a way to bring your website or your landing page on top of the search results. So people who are searching for travel abroad during a vacation, or maybe travel and volunteer at the same time. So I'm just Googling this. So we target these keywords that people are searching, and we show them content and a call to action based on the keywords that they are searching for. That's what Google Ads is about. So you will learn more about Google Ads in the later sessions as well. So yes, these are the main ways that you bring in people through attraction. So this paid advertising includes Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all these platforms. And in detail about these platforms, you will be learning on the later sessions. So okay, so social media, right? Why do we always focus on social media? So social media adds value to your target audience and help you to reach your goals. Your goals of converting people from one stage to another. Maybe they are a target audience, they are following you. How do you convert that cold customer into a warm customer? So that's why you use the Facebook page and the content that you put on your page to convert. So why should, when you're creating or managing a page, or when you're creating a campaign, what you need to think about is, why should someone follow your page? Like, what if I'm only talking about AIESEC and content specific to AIESEC people, that content AIESEC people would only understand, why would a stranger follow your page? Because that page only gives content for AIESECers. It doesn't give content to a stranger, right? So your page needs to give content to a complete stranger that they can engage on. So, and that content needs to satisfy a certain need. Like, you need to feel good about leadership. Maybe you need to understand more about leadership, or maybe you're following the page because they put quotes about your favorite person, your role model. So likewise, you need to figure out what type of need are you satisfying with your content. If you can't figure this out, your content won't make sense, right? And why should you, you need to figure out why should you and your team invest the time in this. So there are a lot of platforms out there, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all these platforms, but you can only focus on certain platforms that will bring you the maximum ROI, right? So because you can't focus on putting too many content out there, and if you try to manage too many platforms, you will get lost. Instead, you need to figure out the niche platform which brings you the most amount of leads and the most quality leads and the cheapest leads, and then invest on it. Invest in terms of money, time, content, everything, right? So these are the two main things that you need to think when you're managing a social media page or trying to build a campaign. So the other thing that you need to think about when you're managing a campaign or a Facebook page is the community management. We call community management. Community means the people who are following your page. So every engagement from on your page needs to be handled in a specific way. It makes your page feel alive and more attentive towards its customers. So the more attention you're giving on social media and platforms, the more the customers will perceive that your brand is active. So some of the activities that include is like commenting on a post, messaging on private. Whenever a person gets back to you, you will get back to them. So like you can use Google Maps. People Google on Google Maps as well, right? And when you Google on Google itself, Google Maps will show up and the reviews that has put to that place. So even on Facebook and Google Maps, reviews are important because it will speak a certain sense about the brand. And yeah, like these are some of the activities that you can do in terms of community management. So content minimums, like when you're building contents, things to consider about. Is it relevant to a product and its brand? You need to figure out whether this content is giving a sense of purpose, sense of belonging for the customer with the brand. And is it giving a CTA for the customer? Like, yeah, there are two types of content. One is like brand related content. Other one is engaging content. Engaging content needs to have a call to action. It could be either comment on a certain post, or it could be either click on a link, or it could either be visit a certain page or something like that. So that call to action needs to be clear. So if I'm interested on this, what should I do next? And is it attractive? This is obvious. So it needs to be attractive for people to be attracted to it. And it needs to be aligned with AIESEC. So Blue Book is AIESEC's brand kit, right? So if you don't know what Blue Book is, you should ask your local committee marketing vice president or your initiative group president, right? So Blue Book is a brand toolkit for AIESEC. So make sure you're aligning it with your AIESEC brand. And always reflect on what the customers would think and feel after seeing this content. The most engaging content are videos. These videos need to be attractive. It needs to speak to the customer. It can't be just, if I was just explaining about a product to you guys, if I come here today and explain about a mobile phone that I'm selling or something that I'm selling, you wouldn't engage, because why would you care about buying a mobile phone or something like that? if I spoke about something that you could do with your mobile phone and something cool that I can do with my mobile phone, that will attract you to my sales point, right? Similar in digital marketing. It's not about the product that you explain to the customer. It's about what you can do with this product that attracts the customer. So think about that. And how can you track it? So UTM is a way that you can track this. UTM links, you can Google about this, or you can ask a question if you want to know about this. UTM is a way that you can track certain link clicks, or UTM is a way that you can track your website. So these are like some content that that talks about AIESEC brand and certain things. So yeah. And talking about other things, like lead nurturing is what we do to nurture and bring in people to other stages. So what do we do? Like email lead nurturing, this was like back in AIESEC, like we have a tool called Send in Blue. So this tool was used to do email automations. So in email lead nurturing, you can build a sequence, what we call a sequence. So when a first email goes out, the sequence means you send a certain email. Based on the user's action onto that email, you send another email. And based on the user's action on the second email, you send another email. Likewise, you build the funnel in terms of lead in the email campaigning system. So in each of these emails, you try to bring a call to action. If the customer doesn't respond, you do certain thing. Maybe you send a different email. So likewise, like you can create a path for the customer to go through in email lead nurturing. So that's the thinking behind email lead nurturing. So when you're building a campaign, it's good to have an email campaign as well, alongside with it, with what actions each customers would do. And SMS automations as well. So you can also do the same thing replicated on SMS as well. So yeah, these are the like two main ways you can do lead nurturing. And the other way you can do lead nurturing is through ads as well. So you can target people who visited your website. You can run ads on the people who visited your website, right? You can run ads on people to do something on who visited your website. So if I visited AIESEC.lk and just left, I can run an ad and try to get me engaged in certain things that AIESEC provides and try to get me to do a certain action, right? So that is also another lead nurturing method that you can have. So things to consider again when it comes to lead nurturing is it relevant? The same first two things are similar. It always need to have a call to action. And are you giving the message at the right time? Like if you keep on sending emails like at a very short interval, it's going to be annoying, right? So if I keep on bothering you with messages and all that, like it's going to be annoying. So you need to worry about, are you giving the right message at the right time, right? You need to test that. You need to test it out and see what's the sweet spot to send the second email or the third email and the fourth, likewise. And always think whether it's annoying, whether it's very loud, right? Always like think what a customer would do after looking at this content which you're sending out. And how can you track it? So always tracking is important. Again, if you're putting a link out there, you can track it with a thing called UTM. So for this, your website needs to be linked for the UTM to work. But there are other ways you can use like Bitly and all these things to track certain links. So the other part, like the most important, I would say, is the brand advocacy part. So this is where the customer itself tries to promote the brand to an audience, which through their experiences and their stories. So you're not trying to force content on the customers, but your customers themselves who had experienced your products are trying to sell that AIESEC product to different people. So that's what we call brand advocacy. So the high level idea is, how can we engage customers during an exchange, right? People are going through exchanges, you're going through certain things. How can you bring in more customers into the funnel while engaging that people who are already unengaged? And then how do you build your product's value through the customers? So the more you bring in people to the funnel through brand advocacy, the more value you build on your product, because your product is having a brand now. People are talking about it. You're going to leave a love mark on your product. So what a love mark is like what Apple has on their products. So people will automatically make it a regular thing to engage with AIESEC, to engage with AIESEC events, to engage with AIESEC products. So once you build this product, your brand advocacy will automatically create this loop where people are coming into your funnel and they're automatically promoting the product itself. So this is the high-level idea that brand advocacy is about, right? So how can we build brand advocacy in terms of AIESEC? How can we use the EP story in brand advocacy in AIESEC? Right. So first thing is like we need to figure out a way how to collect this content. So Podio is a platform which we use to collect content. So don't worry about the term if you don't know about it. You can ask your LCVP later on or MCVP. Podio is a platform which we use to collect content. We have a website in AIESEC.lk where we collect the stories itself. So we need to collect the stories. And second, we need to endorse them. So we don't need to congratulate people to buying our product. We just need to endorse them in a marketing way that other people who looks at the content will feel the fear of missing out. So how can you endorse people who buy the product, right? And other one is like you need to review the content. Like not every experience with AIESEC is going to be happy experience, right? It can be a bad experience as well. You need to make sure you're having this filtration with the stories that people are putting out. So if you look at AIESEC Sri Lanka's Instagram page, it was mostly filled with people's stories, right? Stories about how people did their exchange, what they did, some fun event and all this. So all this content need to tell a story. So that's what will engage people. So you need to create quality content using exchange participant stories, and how you can use the AIESEC Sri Lanka Instagram page and other platforms to tell stories to the world. So that's the brand advocacy. So yeah, this is like the entire concept about brand advocacy that we do. And the last part is analytics. So analytics, not gonna touch on it a lot, just that on a Google Analytics dashboard, you can track the following metrics. So Google Analytics, you can track the sessions. These are all like digital marketing terms, right? So if you are interested, you can ask more questions on this. So one of the things is sessions. That means how many people came into your website and like looked at your content. And the Google Analytics is always related to your website or your landing page. It's always connected to this. So Google Analytics works on websites only. So, and you can figure out where your signups are coming from. Like they could be coming up from Facebook, they could be coming from Instagram. Where are they coming from? So I need to know where they're coming from in order to target better, right? So, and the bounce rate is something that we say how many people left your website without doing any action. So with the bounce rate, you can check and see, are you promoting the right product to the right people? So the conclusions which you can take is the following on each of the metrics. So likewise, you need to have your pillar of metrics and the conclusions that you take from the pillar of metric, and how can you create engaging conclusions out of these metrics, right? So these are some of the metrics that you can track. And where can we apply this? So one of the things is customer retention and content personalization. You can use these analytics here to personalize the content. So like I said, the content needs to be personalized to a person in order to attract them or to engage them. So yeah, make sure that these analytics are being taken into account for useful purposes. And channel optimizations. It is the focusing on the channel. Like I said, like there's a lot of channels out there. Channels means Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, TikTok, whatever. So you need to focus on a niche, right? You need to pick like 3, 4, or like maximum 2 or 3 channels to promote your product. So your data can help to pick that niche channel, and you can figure out the customer's value. Like, are the people you're bringing into the website or your landing page through your funnel are having a certain value, or are they just useless customers, right? So you need to think about this. So what's more when it comes to digital marketing? So I've been talking about this concept called a funnel, right? So what's this funnel about? This is the funnel that you, whenever you get a sign up or whenever you get a sign up to your product, this is the funnel that goes through. This is the funnel. This is the process that your sign up will go through. So whenever you have a product, you attract them, you bring into a consideration phase, and you preparation experience means you're going out to the product, going out to experience the product, and post experience. So each of these stages will have a digital marketing activity connected. So for example, like during the experience stage, you can think about how you can engage that experience with people you're trying to convert at the consideration phase. Or you can think about post experience. How can you use the person's experience to bring in more people to the funnel? So that's the thinking you need to bring on, right? So you need to think about the pain points of the customers that you're trying to resolve with this product, like the need to travel, like especially after COVID, people are dying to travel. Like you can see nowadays as well, when you open the airport, like you're getting tourists coming in because certain people are having that need to travel, whatever the need that they have, because they've been stuck at home. So their need is to travel. Maybe we should capitalize on that. So likewise, you target people based on certain content and make sure you're running them through a funnel. So whenever you're looking at the funnel, which is this, what you can do is first ideate. Find an issue in the funnel you want to fix. So maybe you're not getting any signups. Maybe you're not getting any conversions. Maybe you're launching a new product. So that's the ideation stage. So then you need to think about the problems that the customer might face. Like, what are the questions they might have? Empathize, right? And figure out what they would feel about this product. How, if you're trying to sell this, what are the questions that they would have? And then you build your funnel. Like I said, like what are the content categories that you're going to show them? How you're going to do a step-by-step conversion by the content that you show them, show to the people, and then test it out on a few people. Don't worry about testing out on a small group. Maybe you find a small group in your university, show them this content, ask them to feedback. How did you feel? Like, were you interested about this? Like, what did it make you feel? So likewise, try to build that testing mindset inside your brain so that you can understand whether that content is engaging, and design that funnel. Like first you're going to do this content first, and then you're going to do this email campaign alongside this. You're going to send SMSs alongside it. You're going to run Facebook ads along this. This is the ad that you're going to run. And once people come to the website, this is the content that the people who came to the website is going to see. Likewise, you need to build a step-by-step funnel to the people that are coming, that your target audience is, basically. And next is like validate it, right? Run user interviews, talk to people, test it out, do validation process. You always need to validate with yourself or with someone else whether the funnel that you build is useful, whether it makes sense to the user. So these are the things that you can do when you're building the digital marketing campaign, a funnel, whatever that you're trying to build. These are the things that you can do. So yeah, so that's it, guys. This is the entire introduction to digital marketing. So this is like a small step into the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg when it comes to digital marketing. So any questions so far on the content that we covered? So I expect you guys to, like, you can open your mic and speak up, or you can use the chat as well. Okay, so Praveen has a question. How do you measure a change in customers' behavior to digital marketing metrics? Good question, Ravin. So measuring a change in customers' behavior is important, right? So when you're tracking the behavior of the customer, that's when you know whether your content is working or whether your campaign is working, whether the process that you're doing to convert a person is working. So how can you measure that change? So one thing is like if you need to have a landing page, right? So whenever you're promoting a product, you need to have something called a landing page, which is a specific product page, which is a page dedicated to selling something. So throughout the funnel, you can track what action that person did. So you're not tracking just one individual, you're just tracking an entire pool of your audience and looking at what the majority portion of it does. Maybe you're tracking at, okay, you run this Facebook ad, you are bringing people to, let's say, GV page, right? OGV page. You bring people to this OGV page and you're tracking how many of those people came in to the OGV page and how many of that clicked the sign up button, how many of them actually signed up. So you're seeing a conversion, right? So based on the conversion metric, you can assume or you can validate whether the content that you showed at the initial stage is legit or does it make sense to the customer, how well your content is performing. It's not just about the engagement that you get. It's not just about boosting a post and getting like 100 likes and like 50,000 views, right? It doesn't matter how many views you get as long as you don't get any signups. Those two key metrics that I mentioned in the beginning, it needs to happen. So you measure these activities through platforms like Google Analytics. If you take XPA, you can measure XPA as well, how people go down the funnel. So when you have a qualified lead in the sign up in XPA, right? So that's when you worry about each sign up. What did this person do next? Did they apply? You can figure out from XPA, right? So that's one side of it. So you can actually look at and see what this person does and then target content to that specific audience. Maybe you are targeting people, specific content to people who didn't sign up, but who visited the page. So Ravin, that's something that you can measure. Like you measure what sort of engagement they did on each of the stages that you wanted them to go through. Maybe the point that they visited the website, or maybe the point that they signed up, or maybe the point that they clicked the video of the ad that you ran. So likewise, each of the platforms like Facebook, Google Analytics, XPA, all these platforms will give you tools to track and measure what the user is doing. So that's how you measure the behavior of the customer through digital marketing metrics. I hope I answered your question. What type of social media content converts the best? The best content that converts is the content that speaks to the customer about a certain need, right? So Tivanka is asking, thank you for your question. So what type of social media content converts the best? So that's something for you to test out, because looking at certain things, I cannot say which is the type of content, but the content needs to be viral itself. If your content isn't viral enough, if it's not engaging enough, if it's not pulling you to watch the content, if it's boring, right? So you aren't going to convert anybody from that content. So you need to really put a huge effort into a video that you're producing, a post that you're doing. You need to think about what a person would feel. That's the question you need to be asking. You need to be asking, how would a person feel when they look at this? What would it make me feel? Or you can just create a video and ask a person, show that video to a person and ask them, what do you feel after watching this? And they would say, it's amazing. I would like to know more about it, right? Okay, that's your aha moment. You're looking for that aha moment when person is interested in learning more. That's when you pull the person into your product page, right? So that call to action, that engagement needs to come from your video. So the type, it cannot be explicitly said, but mostly it's video content, because video can be engaging and it's interesting, right? So videos can tell a story and people love stories. So stories and videos are the most useful when it comes to ads and social media content trying to convert people, especially when it comes to AIESEC, because it's a complicated product that people wouldn't understand, right? So a video that will explain sort of the experience that you get from a product, like maybe a high thrilling, adrenaline pumping a video. So something like that, right? It could help you to convert people. So things like that would convert. So this is really something that you should test out and validate which converts. And you need to put down money on it as well. Okay, so next question from Sidney. What are the strategies that we can use to reach our social media campaign in this pandemic? So strategies in the sense like, this is specific to digital marketing. So people are mostly on digital these days, right? You're stuck at home, you're scrolling through Facebook, but the problem is you're more bored. So how can your, now here comes the challenge. The strategy is, how can you move past this boredom that this person is having when he's going through the Facebook page, right? Or scrolling through Facebook. So you're targeting ads to certain people who are of a certain demographic or having certain interest. So to get an engagement out of them, engagement in the sense, what I mean is like a sign up or click on a video or learning more about something, that's that sort of engagement, right? So you need to figure out what strategy that you're going to do in order to make your content engaging. So, and afterwards, it's always repetition. It's always repetition that brings people to a brainwashing state that your product is amazing, that your product is great. So the more times a person sees something about your product, the more they are going to be convinced. So that's why I tell, it's not just that you run one ad and just be done with it, saying that, okay, this is all I got and it didn't work. So it's not like that. You just keep on going at it in different angles. You flood content in different angles for people. Even if you take a YouTube, when they're watching certain motivational videos, maybe they're watching a motivation video, and you could run an ad on that and say, hey, if you need motivation, you should go on and GB. This will build your motivation because these are the activities that you do. This is the type of engagement that you get when you go on this product. Likewise. So it really depends on the scenario. Okay, thank you for your questions, Sidney. So next question, any strategies to make a stranger follow a page through social media? So the question is not the strategy, but the consistency and the content that you put out. So the type of content, like I said before, it needs to speak to a certain customer. If you're going to talk about global volunteer in your Facebook page, no one is going to engage about it because nobody knows what global volunteer is and nobody cares about global volunteer, right? I care about leadership. I care about helping people. I care about like viral content that speaks to me about confidence, that speaks to me about certain skill sets that I get from global volunteer. Those are the content that would engage with people because they're attaching with feelings. You need always attach with feelings when you're talking about social media. It's always about feelings. You need to think from a feeling perspective in order to get people to grow your page or get more signups or whatever, right? So in order to convert a stranger to a follower, that page needs to provide some content on a consistent basis that would feed a need. I need to have a need. So I need to have a need to see content that are adrenaline pumping, that are about different countries, that are about people who are traveling in different countries, who are doing amazing things in different countries. That's the type of content that I want to look. This is my perspective, right? So likewise, you need to test out and see what other people are looking for. Okay. Next question, how the lead generation is different from social media marketing? Lead generation is a process. Social media marketing is an activity. Lead generation is a specific process that you do with a specific objective, that is to generate leads, that is to generate signups. So it's a question of a what rather than a how. So lead generation is a process that you do to generate leads. So your funnel, your content, your strategy, everything is defined to people to signing up. But when you take social media marketing, it's all about explaining your brand, building your brand, being your personal brand, right? So, okay, what kind of call to action would be good to filter out quality signups? So the call to action is already there in AIESEC process itself, right? So in terms of, I'm speaking in terms of AIESEC. So when you take a product, the best way to filter sign up is when they apply, right? So when they apply to a certain opportunity, that's when you know, okay, this person is interested. That's the trigger you need to have that will say, okay, this person is definitely interested in this product. So I'm going to run this campaign to people who are applying. I want them to apply for more opportunities to make sure that they convert better. So the call to action itself is applying. So if you have signups and if you are trying to convert them to qualified leads, then I would say they need to apply. So that's one conversion that you can think of, Navindu. In order to use UTM, we need to have a website and a domain, right? Yes, you need to have a website and a domain, and this is already provided by AIESEC Sri Lanka. So you can use the website yourself, use UTMs, create your own UTM link for the AIESEC.lk website and use it with your LCVP or MCVP, you can coordinate. Is there any way to track the normal links like UTM without shortening it? It's mainly UTMs, but there are other ways like Bitly, which doesn't give you enough information, but UTMs will give you like qualitative information about certain leads. So UTM is the best way if you are trying to do a specific campaign and to run targeted ads. UTM is the best way. Okay, next question. What are the challenges that we might face regarding security problems? How far do we need to care about security in startup marketing campaigns? What do you mean, Pabsara, in security problems? Like, is it like security problems with regard to AIESEC, or like security problems with regard to like going on an exchange? Or if you can provide more clarity on this, that would be great. What advice would you give on the ethical use of digital marketing when we're handling? Okay, basically, there's nothing to worry about the ethical aspect of social media, because unless you're Mark Zuckerberg, you don't have to worry about the ethical aspect. Because what we are doing is tools that are already established as ethical. We are just using these tools in digital marketing to our advantage to get a certain objective. So the ethical part is not on our end per se. It's on the people who own the social media platforms. So the other thing that we need to worry about is how we worry about the privacy of the people. Like, especially after you get a sign up, what sort of privacy or what sort of agreement are you having with the sign up and the person, what kind of agreement you're having with the person who gave the details and what you're going to do with that details. So there needs to be a clear agreement on what you do with that sign up. So that's why when you go to most websites, like when you sign up, there's a small checkbox saying that I agree to promotional content, I agree to receiving emails, likewise. So you need to agree for that. So that's one ethical aspect that you need to think about. Next question. What's the best platform for managing a campaign? And how can we take control of brand through online social media marketing? This actually depends. So for example, in Mindvalley, the best platform for us is Instagram. Instagram converts better. It brings in more revenue than other platforms in Mindvalley. So, but when it comes to AIESEC, like when I was MCVP, I found out that Facebook was much more favorable. Facebook was much more cheaper and it brought in more leads than any other platform. So I, during my MC term, doubled down on Facebook. So best platform is something that you learn by doing. It's not something that I can come and say, hey, Instagram is the best page. You guys could do this as well. So it's not like that. It's something that you test and figure out, right? So it's really up to you guys. You need to run ads. You need to put money and see which brings you the most amount of leads. And out of those leads, how many of them converted? Okay, then you will have your aha moment saying that these leads came from Facebook and they converted. Therefore, Facebook brings me the most quality leads. So I would say Facebook is the best platform for my use case. So it's definitely based on a use case. So second, other question, what's the best platform you can use digital marketing as well? So it's the same question. It's really based on use case and the type of product that you're trying to sell. It will differ. how can we use hashtags more effectively? So the reason why you use hashtag is to make sure, so this is related with the Facebook algorithm. So the algorithm is created in such a way that the words that you use and the hashtags that you use will define who it will be shown to. So the hashtags help to define or will help Facebook to understand what type of content is this. And Facebook then will understand, okay, this content is based on life or based about life advice, life quotes and all this. So it will go and show that content to people who are interested on similar type. So that's the use of hashtags. So when you're using hashtags, you really need to think about what type of hashtags define the type of content. You need to think about the content and whether your hashtags define that content. That's the best way, because you need to show your content to the target audience as well, right? You don't want unwanted leads. So that's why. Okay, so security problems when it comes to marketing campaigns. So you're speaking with regard to computer security, right? Cyber security. So this is again not on our side, but what's on our side is the platforms that we have. So for example, like the website, XPA, these are platforms which we need to worry about that the security. So you can't actually give out details that you pulled out from XPA to someone else because it's illegal and you can be fined for this. So the websites and everything, this needs to be secure in order to ensure that you don't go into trouble with regard to privacy and suing. What are the most effective SEO tools techniques in digital marketing? Great session on SEO. So my domain didn't cover SEO. So I'm not an SEO expert, but there's someone in your storyteller campaign that is very hands-on with SEO and has expert knowledge. So I suggest that you ask this question from that person as well. So yeah. But a rough overview of SEO, like it's all about the blogs and it's passive content, right? The SEO content is not something that you would instantly get a lead out of, but you're just building your SEO background so that your page would be ranked higher. So that's a basic understanding, but in depth, you will understand from that specific person. Okay, what's your idea about app tracking transparency? How now implemented and how we good? I'm not aware about app tracking transparency, but if you mean about how apps are used to track user behavior, right? So this is again like not on our end to handle. It's on the people who have like own social media, right? They are the people who need to worry about the transparency. So you as a user, you will opt in on Facebook saying that, please use my data to send me ads. You're basically consenting to this. So if you're consenting to that, then Facebook will say, okay, you gave us permission, so I will show you content and I will show you targeted content. So it's an agreement that you enter with Facebook. So you will really need to read that privacy notice when you sign up for something, whether on an app or a sign up page or whatever, that you need to really think about whether you want this, right? So that's something you need to think about, the transparency, because a business is required to present that transparency before signing up. They cannot use your data in an unwilling manner that you didn't agree upon. So that agreement is presented upfront before they do anything with that data. What tools can be used to track user behavior? Good question. So there are a couple of tools called Hotjar, Google Analytics, and Facebook Pixel. So these tools will help to track user behavior on website. So Hotjar is about how people interact with your website. Like, are they reading your website? Are they clicking where they are supposed to click? Is the user experience of the website good? Is the load time bad? So all these elements can be tracked in Hotjar. And Google Analytics, like I explained, you can track a bunch of metrics. And Facebook Pixel as well, you can track the same amount of data that tracks with Google Analytics. So these are some tools that you can use to track user behavior. Can we have a few insights on LinkedIn marketing and its productivity based on? Okay, so my experience with LinkedIn was that it's expensive and it's something that needs a huge investment, which AIESEC is unable to make. So LinkedIn is definitely a good platform when it comes to professionalism and when it comes to brand. But the problem is our people, which we are focusing on, is customers, are not on LinkedIn as much as we thought they were. So this is again up to experiment and the amount of money that we can invest. So based on the amount of money that we can invest, LinkedIn won't be a much useful platform as per my experience. So that's something you can have as an insight. Other than that, LinkedIn is a good platform to have a brand, good brand presence, have a professionalism related to the brand. It's a really good platform for that. Next question. What are the common social media marketing mistakes that businesses make? Okay, good question. So one of the common mistakes that people make is, again, not listening to their customers. They are not thinking about the engagement. The message that you're trying to give with this content needs to align with the target audience. So if the content that you're trying to sell, right, the content that you're trying to put out, if it's not giving a correct message that is related to your target audience, that's the worst thing that you can do, because you're spending money, you're investing money, you're investing energy, and if your message doesn't align with your target audience, it's a waste. So you really need to invest time and effort on figuring out whether the message aligns with the people that you're trying to attract to your page or to your website or whatever. So that is something important. I would say that's the best, that's the worst mistake that people would make. Yeah. Trying to think something else as well. And the other thing is like not understanding your customers. If you don't understand how your customer feels at each of the stage, you are not engaging with them correctly. You're misaligning with them. That's how people drop out. That's why you're saying that your campaign isn't converting, because whatever the customer feels at a certain stage, when you're at the applied stage, I still might be confused about this product. I might be interested. So if you should try to show content that they can do, like, I don't know, like something that is related to an approved customer, that wouldn't make sense, right? You need to really think at an applied state, what would I feel? What's going through my mind? What am I thinking? So that thinking needs to come through you. You need to align your thinking with what the customer feels at each of the stage. So those two are the common mistakes and the greatest mistakes that people would make. When we are publishing something on social media, do we need to consider time? Yes. So for the first part, yes, time is important, because you're trying to, one thing is like if you're doing a product launch, right? You're trying to bring in people to a product, you need to find which time is your audience most active. So this data can be looked up on Facebook itself. It will tell you which time your most engagement is. So if you're trying to do a product launch, it would make sense for you to do a product launch or a campaign launch at the time when most people are active on your Facebook page or active on Facebook itself. So that time is important when it comes to that. But if you're trying to bring in new people into your Facebook page, which is the attraction part, like which is a cold customer, we are trying to bring in customer. So for that, you're trying to bring in viral videos, micro content, all this content. For that, time is not important because you're trying to bring in new people. And the second part of the question, is there any, so is there any relationship between publishing time and more attractions? So like I hope my answer was to the point. So attraction is a different concept. If you're trying to attract new people to your page, then time doesn't matter, because you're trying to bring in people new, who are new to product, who is new to AIESEC, who doesn't know about AIESEC and what we do. You're trying to bring in them. So if you're trying to launch a product, or if you're trying to engage the existing users in your Facebook page, then yes, time is important. So yeah, good questions, guys. Any more questions that you guys have? That's all for today, and I hope you guys learned an overview about social media marketing and digital marketing. And feel free to contact me on LinkedIn. You can search me for Damith Silva. You can, if you have any questions, you feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or Instagram. I'm just gonna drop my handle in the chat. Yeah, that's it. And thank you guys for having me here today.
Yes, thank you so much for those amazing insights. And I'm sure that we all had a lot to take from this session. And Mr. Damith Silva will be engaging with us for project throughout the Project 100 Storytellers, and you will get to learn more from him in the future as well. So having said that, we have come to the end of today's session, and I would like to request all of you to turn on your cameras for our final photo.